anything else legal.
I'd like to call to order the Town of Facein Vermont Planning Commission meeting, Monday, June 9th, in attendance. Yeah. Does anyone have agenda modifications? What's it?
Guys want to pass notes or what was in or? That a boy?
Any agenda modifications?
None for me. No.
All right, has everyone reviewed the minutes from the May 12th, 2025 meeting? Any comments? Oh, we have to bring it to order. Bring it to order. Any comments on the minutes? Lively one here, man.
No, they did a very nice job.
Okay. I guess I'll motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ready, seconds?
Aye.
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 All right, that's a world record for minutes. Anyone from the public want to make some comments? No one? All right. So the LUR amendment process. I'll try to make this quick. It shouldn't take anywhere near 10 minutes. Basically, as you all know, we've been having these meetings, we go back and forth, we vote on a bunch of stuff. And then tonight, we're gonna try to go over the record revision. We're gonna go over that revisions list. We have approximately, well, it was 11, now we've created a few more. Once, if anyone wants to talk about any of those things, we can talk about them. We voted on them before. So I wrote, we hold the meeting to take a fast overview of the issue so everyone is on the same page and what we were talking about. Unless there are material changes to the overlying state regulations or there is new and important outcry from the community, the contents of the changes are not up for detailed discussion or further amendment. The commission worked the issue through in the past and will work on the majority vote to further these items, not on a unanimous decision. Once we have made that list, we'll vote on the list to send it out to public comment. We then have to make a warning at least 15 days prior. Hopefully we can have that meeting in July where the public will come in and they can talk about anything we put on the revisions list. When Jason and I build the agenda for that meeting next month, I will place other things like talking about the town plan and stuff. If the public shows up, agenda modification would just throw all that stuff out the window. No one from the public shows up, at least we can still have a meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't anticipate people showing up to that meeting. I anticipate they're gonna show up to the next one. So if we do get public, they're gonna make some comments. Maybe they don't make comments, maybe we make some changes. Once we have all those changes, we send it to the select board. They look at it, they can tell us if they immediately want changes. And then once they sort of agree, they will warn the public. And then they also have 15 days after that public warning goes out. During that time that those changes have been pushed out to the public, Jason and the DRB now have to use both sets of rules in unison, whichever one is more restrictive, until we have that meeting where the select board comes and presents everything to the public. During that public meeting that the select board has, they will vote to either approve or not approve the changes that we've created. They approve them, they go into effect. If they don't approve them, it comes back to us. We have to then revise them the way they see fit. We don't have to send out the public comments again. It just goes out to public comments with select board. And we keep doing this process until they're voted to be approved. And then we can move on with our lives. Anyone have any questions about any of that?
The first part of the amendment process, attempting or working to incorporate public, the changes that we deem appropriate after the public comment period. What's the mechanism for that? I mean, we just create an agenda item, this is the feedback we got, and we just kind of, set them up and knock them down individually, or, I mean.
That's kind of how I see it. We don't have to send it out for public. We don't have to do another public warning at that.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
But if it does seem like, wow, we've got some overwhelming feedback in this, in one area or another, we can, go back and revisit the issue.
Very much so.
Alright.
But once we send it, I mean, we're not gonna, obviously, we wouldn't add any other things to the revisions, but we would work
Right.
through those things. And
Seems like
then,
there's just it seems like a potential, big old trapdoor.
for which one?
Just what you say, you said, well, we don't, based on that public comment, we don't we will not be adding to the revisions list, that. We need to make it clear, I think, that, that public comment, that's only addressing the 11 or 12 revisions that are on the list, and we're not gonna, open this Pandora's box.
Yeah,
again.
It's been 2 years since the PC has gone through this process, and in those 2 years, if the public hasn't raised an issue about something and they wanna change. At this point, we're chewed out far the tooth on the
Okay.
process. And all those other revisions will be put in the town plan and
Right.
stuff like that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that's clear in our minds and clear in the public's mind.
Yeah. That's my
I
understanding.
think when it gets warned. It lists what's being discussed. Is that true or not true?
Yeah, we have to, alright, I mean, I didn't read everything, but basically. At least 15 days prior to the first hearing, a copy of the proposed bylaw amendment or repeal and the written report shall be delivered physically or electronically with proof of receipt or mailed certified mail. To the chair of the planning commission of each abutting municipality. The executive director of the regional planning commission, the Department of Housing and Community Development. As well as the public, and we have to warn it through all of our normal stuff, but it's gonna show the full text of everything.
I actually have to warn it
In
in the
the
Valley
reporter.
Reporter, like
Yeah.
a DRB.
It's a much larger warning with a lot more
Right, it's a-
information.
More,
Robust.
What I can do for the Valley Reporter from Port Forum stuff is for a list of, and I did this last time, as I'll have a copy of the revisions list. And I also print out a copy of the red line version. So it's available for people to come and see it. As far as,
can you put links on the warning? Or does that just get very cumbersome?
and also put it on our website, so.
Oh,
Cause we're not gonna put that whole thing in the Valley Reporter.
No, I-
no, that's what I'm thinking is,
That I would print and just say, contact zone administrator
Yeah,
for. More information on the revisions list, red line version. But like when I post at the. Library,
Wakefield.
Post
Library,
offices.
Post office,
I could staple,
to the
a
bulletin board.
revision list to the back of the agenda, I think just flip open like this. Plus, come see me. And it goes on our website, and we were doing that last time also.
And are there any other things before we do that, that the DRB is having trouble with, that would be beneficial?
Now we handled one thing that they. Somehow omitted from the last one with the site plan size.
any more questions about that process?
Want to make sure I understand it. So what I wrote down is Jason's been keeping this list of changes that we've discussed.
Mhm.
There'll be a meeting with the public at our July meeting, is that correct?
That's the plan. We're hoping to make that
Okay.
happen.
So meeting with public will be at our July meeting. Then we will warn for public comment period then after that.
Oh, no, we're gonna post after this meeting, once we vote on a revisions list that we're all. Once we vote, to move that forward, we're gonna post for public comment, and then that will invite the public to our next meeting.
Okay. Well, what I've got now is. Starting from the top again. Jason's been keeping a list. We're going to post warrant for public comment in the next few days. At least 15 days before our next meeting.
Mhm,
Then we're gonna have a meeting with the public at a July meeting.
mhm.
will incorporate any changes. And review with the select board at their next meeting.
So so we have that meeting with the public, we incorporate any changes, and then we send everything to the select board for them to give us feedback. And when they're happy with it, they warn it to the public,
For their next meeting.
hopefully for their next meeting.
So we go back and forth with the select board after they get them.
I mean,
Ping pong back and
it's a lot
forth
of,
in Warren for like a year.
I spent like 2 hours reading that, so Jason attached the document of how it all worked,
Yeah.
the email I sent out. And yeah, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, it is rather plain telling.
This thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Put me asleep on the couch.
That's good, I mean, I'm glad it's a discussion with the select board, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like. Hopefully. We're all on the same page, because if we get to public comment. And then we send it to select board and they're like, no, this isn't good, like, okay, we've clearly done something wrong.
I think, I think it'd be nice to feel like we're collaborating a little bit more with the, select board. I sometimes feel like we're just operating in a vacuum. And, it's not, it's not what I envisioned. The planning commission's role, coming in to some extent, and that's on me because I didn't educate myself enough. But I had a construct in my brain that was more aligned with the select board sends us questions, or the select board or the DRB hits up on an issue that involved planning and our interpretation of the LURs, and I thought it would be more of a back and forth give take with them.
I think it certainly should be with the DRB. If they've got issues or they're running into trouble with any of the land use regs, it's
Right.
the only way we would have information
Right.
about that.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what I hope that that there's I hope that there's a healthy, back and forth.
And maybe we just take it upon ourselves to approach them. Or you're their secretary
I'm their
too.
secretary, I talk to them every month,
The DRB,
yeah.
plus my wife's in the DRB.
But there. Realistically, there should be a formal process so that if your wife isn't, you still have
Oh,
a communication thing, right?
yeah,
They would let me know in no uncertain terms if they had an issue. They are up for a joint meeting if ever needed. We've talked about it. So
And who's on the DRB now?
Beth, Daniel Young is the chair. Jim Donkersloot is the vice chair. Mike Quenville, hi. Which,
Well, to make sure I understand this. I'm gonna start from the top. Jason's been keeping the master list.
Mhm.
We're gonna warn this list for public comment period. Shortly. It'll be 15 days before our next meeting. We'll review with public at our July meeting. Then we will incorporate any changes from the July meeting from the public. Then send to the select board for their review.
Mhm.
We will then incorporate any changes requested by select boards. And then re-warn the public of the revised list and then review with select board until the changes are fully supported. Iterative
Select board
process.
warns, we only warn once, and then every other time after that, the select board warns.
Okay, so we incorporate any changes requested by the select board.
Mhm.
And send back to the select board. Select board warns the list, revised list.
You need a Venn diagram,
Oh, well.
a Venn
I thought
diagram.
about building one of those, but it got really confusing. Really, it's. We vote on a list tonight, hopefully. We send that out to public comment, they come, they make some comments. We like our list, we revise our list. Send it to select board, the select board sends it out to public comment. Once they send out for the comment, then the more restrictive of the regulations is in effect. They have 120 days, we have 120 days to finish the process. So it becomes a little bit interesting. When you make more restrictive changes or less restrictive changes for the people in town.
And again, the select board may or may not even have anything to say, depending on what you guys are in forward, onward and forward, and then 21 days
What, for 21 days for the warning?
for them to enact it.
Yeah, there's this thing where it says like 21 days after they
After the
vote,
vote.
everything's enacted, but. If they voted to approve it, wouldn't you just start,
Just more stringent would apply until that 21st day.
oh, the more stringent would apply?
Whatever, yeah, because you'd still be in that. It prevents people from trying to,
Game the system.
yeah,
Like floating a check, only it's floating the rules.
Yeah,
and of course, anyone has an application or whatever that has anything of the effect, I let them know what's going on. This is either hurry up or slow down.
hello, Mr. Whitman.
Can you hear us, Charles? So actually, the most confusing part of the process is to figure out who we're sending these things to, with Bill's board sitting right over there.
Does he know he's muted?
I don't know.
Mr. Whitman, you may not know that you're muted. Does anyone know Mr. Whitman?
Nope.
You're not knowing that person.
Okay, so
I
I
got
gotta make sure I'm
I got a
hearing this
Google
right.
machine right here.
Okay, back to this process.
Yes,
So after we've reviewed it and we send it to the select board. We get the list back with any changes, we amend them, give them back to the select board. Then they warn the public at least 15 days prior to their next meeting,
yes.
and then they review. If there are any changes, they're sent back to the planning commission. If the select board agrees with the list as written, then the changes are approved and enacted 21 days after the meeting.
Yeah, and we should probably attend that select board meeting, of course, to defend our positions. Oh, the thing I forgot is. Usually I write, I'm hoping that we can all, I mean, I'm gonna put it together and show it to you guys. We have to write a planning commission report. Which basically, once everyone at this meeting agrees on our revisions, I then have to, I have to make a document that says why we're doing these things.
A
It's-
basis for
The
that.
basis of the facts, and so that's why it's important, that's why I asked, like, well, why are we doing this, or why are we doing that, because we write that, and that's part of the warning, I meant to mention it.
PC report.
The PC report,
No, hang on.
alright,
Let's see.
so, we wanna move on to reviewing. Based on that use regulations amendments,
I think I've got this process. I'll give it to you, Jason, you can look at it.
I think we're most likely just we're gonna go on with the amendment process in conjunction with state law.
we're just gonna do it the way we're supposed to.
I understand that, but we just spent 25 minutes discussing the intricacies of it. And
Okay,
I learned something.
we'll put it in.
If we were just gonna say we're gonna follow state law,
Well, it's good that everyone's learning how to do it though.
I guess I missed the,
The important thing is we finalize a revisions list. We write a planning commission report. We warn that to the public. Public looks at it. They come, they talk to us, or they don't talk. After that, we send it to the select.
I am not very good taking information in orally.
Yeah, Well, I mean, you can,
Particularly when the oral conversation changes every time it's oralized.
okay, so attached to the email is a 7-page document on the exact process with all of the legal words that I tried to filter down to make it.
And as Paul stated, and I agreed with him, it was hard to get through. This has been a very useful for me summary of the process.
Well, I didn't mean it was hard. I just meant it's tedious because it is. It's just a lot of, it's all just spelled out in the state statutes. And we don't have any wiggle room. There's just one way to do it, and Langdon just spelled out how it has to be done. And it's in black and white. He didn't just do it orally, Michael, just to be fair. I mean, it's all printed. It was sent to us, all right there.
I think you always have the option to not follow the state.
What?
I think you have the option to not follow the state if everybody agrees. And your town plan, as soon as you have a town plan, it makes you have more rules.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really that
I think
hard.
everyone is on board that we should follow the state, but
It shouldn't be difficult to do it. I mean, it really shouldn't be. I mean, unless the public has a huge outcry about something, our revisions list isn't even that aggressive. So, shall we move on to, does anyone want to talk about ADUs?
But we did this a year and a half ago.
So what happened in the year since your last meeting, which in April, when you guys discussed it, and you voted on it in the last 90 seconds of that meeting, is that the state came out and they made it very clear that there's nothing that says that a town can't create a less restrictive covenant for how ADUs are controlled. And in that meeting, and no less than 6 times, Jason said, we're gonna talk about this again. And so tonight, when we wanna push through our revisions list, thought it was important to revisit it. I wrote some draft amendment. I'm not married to this amendment at all. I just wanted to have something in front of you guys that we could talk about. And since I wrote it, I'd rather you guys just talk and stay with you.
So I want to understand. I thought we discussed this for multiple meetings more than a year ago because the state had changed their statute and said you can't be any more restrictive with ADUs than you are with a single family dwelling.
Lessons.
You can't be any,
More restrictive in the review process.
The review should be the same.
So
as
it's-
the single family, right?
It would-
that's my
cannot be closer to
recollection of
DRB.
why this was on the agenda a year and a half ago. Yes,
That is correct.
so
there's also, if I recall properly, the guidelines that a different group had put in made the percentage 90%.
that's what we found out. Agreed,
And
agreed,
there didn't seem to be any restriction on size.
agreed.
And I think that didn't feel good to some people.
We uncovered that in the course of looking at that first object. I agree. So what I'm trying to understand, Langford, is you keep on saying the state statute has changed. Has something changed between a year and a half ago when we started this discussion and now?
They made it clearer that towns and municipalities can have a provision to allow for larger than 30% or 900 square feet, whichever is larger. They made it very clear in the regs. They added that. That was to change the state code. So
So we have an opportunity, if we choose, to go with a larger than 30%, which is what we've changed it to. And at that vote, I think both Andrew and I were interested in going larger than the 30%, but we sort of just settled that 30%. Is that accurate?
Yeah, in favor of going larger than that.
yeah, I mean, I can show you the video. That's exactly what happened in the room. I wasn't here that day, but I have the 2-hour-long video where you guys were definitely open to larger, and it was just sort of towards the end of the meeting, you all just agreed to remove that paragraph and move forward and address this issue later down the road. Yes, that's just kind of where that was at. In the conversations that I've had with Jason about ADUs. If you wanted to go greater than 30% or 900 square feet, you could go up to 90%. Now, state of fact, no one has attempted to go larger than 30% or 900 square feet since that was put in place 2 years ago, so this has not even become an issue. When the Homes Act was passed, they made it very clear that it can be less restrictive. The way that Jason reads that reg says basically, we can't force people to go to conditional use review because that would be against the Homes Act. So that would allow someone to walk in here with a 90% ADU proposal and get a building permit, and they can still do it today. And that was a concern. So basically sending people to the DRB to make larger ADUs was against the Homes Act. But Jason also feels that larger ADUs should really just be an administrative review, which is the ZA, rather than having anything to do with the DRB. So it's not really about that, it's just about, let's clean up this ADU stuff to let people. Because when they created, I went back into all the notes, sorry, I'm rambling a little. I went back to all the notes, and basically, the town and the select board and everyone said, hey, make ADUs less restrictive. And their knee-jerk response was fine, we'll make it to 90%. So for us to just chop it down to 30 and 900, that goes against the work that they did 2 years ago. It should be bigger, but not 90%, and no one should have to go to the DRB.
So
I agree.
our basis, oh, go ahead.
I can really, let me just check. I think, I agree with your review of the situation. And I agree with this outcome. I have some edits we could make to the precise language, but basically what you're saying lines up and lines up with the intent of our predecessors, lines up with state law.
But again, what is our basis for this?
Oh, for,
I mean, for choosing a specific square footage. Cause the whole idea
Oh.
behind the state doing this was to help with affordable housing.
yeah,
Where these
And I-
numbers, well, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. For instance, workforce housing, I think.
I'm looking for workforce housing. I wanna make a few things abundantly clear. If you have a piece of property and you live there, it's an owner occupied unit. You can build an ADU. Because you live on the property, you can build an ADU for other people to stay there. If you cease to exist on that property, it is no longer an ADU, and you have to go in front of the DRB to either subdivide your property, or if it's an attached ADU, create a duplex. And that's conditional use review. This has to be owner occupied, so people can't buy a house, build an ADU, and then put both of them on Airbnb. Because, right, I mean, that's my understanding. So ADUs are powerful because it's an owner, the owner has to live on the property for an ADU to exist. And that was something that I learned a great deal of during this process. I'm talking, which I want you guys to.
Well, I think to answer where did the numbers come from? Langdon. I think just recently, and I before him, and he would have the numbers, and I didn't come prepared enough, but we did just a brief survey of our neighbors, and we wanted to sort of be in the ballpark of what,
You mean the neighboring towns?
yes,
Yeah,
so it wasn't just spun out of whole cloth. Forget,
The-
that was no.
the 1,200 feet comes from Heinsberg.
Okay.
I like the 1,200 feet that Heinsberg has. Warren, they get to go larger, but you have to go to the DRB, and JV Ware is sending people to the DRB to build larger than 30 and 9%, 900 square feet of 30%, and that is happening. People are going to the DRB, they are building ADUs that are larger.
And what size are they allowing?
They're going, let's see where's the. Moretown, Waitsfield, oh, I'm sorry, Waitsfield, not Warren, Waitsfield. Jason, do you remember this one?
I don't.
It's confusing the way that they did it. They say you go larger. I need you to say 40%, but it's just. They just say large, they just say larger and they don't put a number on. The following types of accessory dwellings may be allowed as conditional uses in designated zoning district. One attached or detached dwelling unit, which is accessory to the family dwelling unit, which floor area in excess of 900 square feet or 30% of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling, whichever is larger. That's it. You just go to the DRB and you plead your case. There's no restriction in
Stop.
Wakefield. In
Is
Moretown.
it dependent on district?
Yeah, depending on district, so maybe I need to get into that, but in Moortown, they let you build. To 2,000 square feet or 100% of your house, whichever is smaller. But the problem is, and we'll get into this when we start talking about where my numbers come from. The state code is you need to be able to go to 30%. So if 2,000 feet is smaller than 30%, now you're not. with
Meeting state code.
You're not meeting state code. So it's great that they're saying you can go to 2,000 feet or 30%, whichever is smaller. So they're letting the people with small houses go to 2,000 square feet, but there is a certain situation where you have a principal dwelling that's so large that the town could get sued. Moortown, not Faith, but Moortown.
So what I'm reading here on I just Googled what is Waitsfield regulations, and it came up saying the size of the ADU can be no more than 30% of the total habitable square footage of the house or 900 square feet, whichever is larger. Then it says state law. State law, 2 points. Vermont law requires municipalities to allow for the creation of ADUs, we know that. ADUs must have sufficient wastewater capacity and cannot exceed 30% of the floor area or 900 square feet, whichever is larger.
Mhm.
That's in accord with the same Vermont state law. So,
But we can be less restrictive.
Yeah. What is, so
It's
this
funny,
says,
typically you can only be more restrictive, right? This is one of the few things you can be less
That's
restrictive on.
so I'm just trying to understand where we're trying to.
Do we have any-
Nobody's come to Jason
Huh?
and asked.
Do we have any of these coming up, or have you had any?
I always get inquiries on it, but no one's have come over 30%.
Okay, and this is Waitsfield, Jason?
This is Waitsville.
So Waitsfield's 800 square feet or 30%.
Well, that's a typo.
but you see where it says, in subparagraph C, the following types,
Right,
conditional use review, larger. One. But they don't put a top number, but that's just Waitsfield.
it's got to be an error,
What, the 8?
the 800.
So there's 3 differences with this proposed wording, Langford. Okay, one is, why was the second sentence in the existing stuff taken out? An accessory dwelling or apartment is not permitted in any lot containing 2-family or multifamily dwellings.
It's redundant. We're trying to slim down the LURs. It's just redundant. It's in the, it's cited in several other locations in the LURs. It's an unrequired sentence.
Could easily be put back in there.
We can put it back in.
Cause I mean, an ADU is not, I mean. Well.
An ADU is a corner to a single family residence.
Right, it's not. Yes.
I
It's
mean-
redundant to the extent that the first sentence says all that needs to be said. But I wouldn't be opposed to sticking it back in there as a reminder that. An ADU is not permitted on a 2-family or multifamily, on a lot with 2-family or multifamily dwelling.
That's, yeah,
I mean, it says, it's only permitted, but it's kind of a. Point, it does kind of state the obvious, but
What if instead of repeating it, we highlighted that sentence and made it bold?
What sentence?
No,
the first one.
yeah, we don't have bold anywhere else in any office. I don't think we should start going bold.
I just thought it was,
All caps or anything
interesting
like
that
that.
guy, Fenton, was that his name, who was here? Said there's a lot of repetition and excess verbiage.
Yeah,
If you guys
No,
are,
there's
I don't have a.
it certainly
strong
is,
feeling
but I
about
just
this,
don't like
that's-
the, I just don't like the chaos of, you know, emphasis added or italics or all caps or anything like that. I don't need the page screaming at me. I can say, let the words do the talking, not the font.
happy to add that back in, but if we're talking about the existing one, if you look into subset 1, it says. At the end of the first sentence, there's a comma for the use of an apartment for the housing, period. Does anyone know what that means? Cause I can't figure out what that means, so I deleted it.
Which-
Under 1,
Under our original,
under the LURs,
It's a weird one.
sentence 1, after the comma, all of those words don't make sense.
yeah, exactly. For use as an apartment for the housing, it's like a bad translation from Chinese or something like.
So. Like there are, and as Michael knows,
We missed that one.
punctuation is important. And sentence structure is important.
Grammar and usage.
Grammar and usage is important, so I'm cleaning it up. Happy to put that other stuff in, it's redundant, but happy to put it back in.
I mean, I'm okay, I was okay with that sentence being revised, but I think for A. I mean, we can play with the English, but I think. Having clarity. That it can only be an ADU on a single family residential lot is valid, is important.
Cool, put it in the sentence.
I mean, you can leave it the way it was, or we can say an accessory dwelling. Is only allowed on single family residential lots. But I mean.
So,
Is that state statute too?
what?
Yeah.
State statute, single family, yeah.
Yes.
It's state statute.
And maybe you put in owner occupied.
No, that's state statute, it's very much owner occupied, and that is, 1 subpart A. It's I mean, it's definitely owner occupied, so if it works for everyone else, all I'm gonna do. Is just grab paragraph A out of the existing regs.
Yeah.
And then rather than ending in act, it's gonna say act VSA 4412,
You gotta put,
is that
yeah,
okay?
24 VSA 4412.
Sorry, 24,
Yeah, 24 VSA 4412.
You don't even need at the act, you just gotta put 24 VSA.
And
E1
should the may
sub E.
be a
sub-
will?
so even,
No.
Why? Because they will, if they meet all those.
Right, it's best
they
to just say
will.
may have one at this point, cause what if they have slopes, or they
Might
have
be 1E. I have.
stream buffer
One
issues,
year.
or something like that.
I'll let you know if it was that cleaned up,
I'm sorry, it's 1E, not E1.
It came up in another
so it's
thing recently.
ACT space 24 space VSA.
You don't even have
space-
to have act,
I mean,
you can just say
yeah,
in
the-
24, delete act.
Okay,
Put in 24 VSA 4412 sub 1
sub 1,
sub capital E.
sub capital E. Okay,
There you go.
and then I will copy the
If you're
rest.
fancy, you can put one of those little, section symbols. in
I
front.
figured that out, I figured out how to do that on my keyboard.
Teach me that.
You just have to Google it, there's
I have to Google it every time and
that's
that's,
ridiculous.
I used to type this stuff all the time too. I could never remember.
Alright, so I am
And gymnastics.
replacing A. With. The text from. The. Existing IURs. And then adding the VSA. That we just talked about.
Okay, am I just being dumb? Why shouldn't that be a will? Because,
Or shall,
or shall, because we can't deny it if they meet all requirements.
Where are you looking at?
In A,
Shall.
subject to the following provisions, which are also intended to meet statutory requirements pertaining to accessory building included in. I don't think that that's what that statutory requirements means. I think if it doesn't meet certain requirements in the LUR such as setbacks. Talks about it later, I think, but. Stream buffers, wetland buffers. Slopes. And. I believe later in this, it talks about the water wastewater stuff, right? Yeah.
I think it says may, Freddie, because it anticipates a permitting process down below. So. That's why if you fail to meet the statutory requirements to get a permit. You don't get one, and so that's why that. Says an accessory dwelling may be approved as a residential.
I think it.
One of these houses up the street, for example, on the left, right, they're little camps or whatever, but let's
There,
say
no,
that,
it's,
let's just say he wants to go ahead and put an ADU on there. He's got a single family residence, but he's in the stream buffer and therefore it can't be permitted, so may is the right word there.
I think it flows, yes.
And would float, we need to float, it's gonna be that close
Float.
to the stream, flows.
Flows, cause the first sentence says only one principal dwelling per single family lot, fine. This is not a backdoor. Subdivision of a lot. You can, and the second sentence says you can't have it on a two-family or more dwelling. And then it's goes and as it flows to, you can put it on, however, on a residential lot with one single family dwelling, subject to the following provisions, so I think it flows.
I guess my thinking is you can't deny it if they meet all requirements. But. I'm not gonna fight about it.
I'm thinking this is not a reviewable situation if they're following these requirements. That's what I think is what the rules say, right?
So they will,
Oh, I see.
Receive a
You
permit.
could- Okay,
Well, let's
and we don't have an
oh, I
option,
see.
Let's
right? Because.
go
the
back
law
to the
says you
language
will Get it,
in the statute.
state law.
Statute says that it shall be under the same review as a single family residence without an ADU.
Mhm.
But if that single family residence did require conditional use approval for something, so would the ADU, so that's why may is.
I think that the word may doesn't make a material difference.
Thanks, the right word.
Any other things?
I'm just a little bit, stuck on dumb, on, sub C, on the chart.
Okay.
Does yours have the little lines in
Yeah,
it?
lines.
Do you have the grid?
I have a grid.
Yeah.
Cause I got it without the grid first.
This
and
is,
did not.
this is.
He's thought, he's like.
Well, no, yeah, no, so I got, so first column is square feet, second column, square feet of livable floor area of single family dwelling. If it's 4,000 plus. Then your range, your options are 1,600,
No,
yeah, so I don't understand.
go
how it
straight
works.
down, 30% of principal dwelling.
Okay,
So the top line is square
Yes, I
foot
got
of
it,
livable, the
Yeah,
bottom is
so-
maximum accessory dwelling size.
right, so I think that needs to, right, cause you could read it across and then you're screwed.
I read the word.
You gotta
and I-
read it down, no, so,
Or we need some column titles and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you need a column title or something, because it's like, I'm a little bit stupid,
Okay,
at the moment, and I was like, it makes perfect sense now, but.
I can send it to you. in
I don't think I'm
words.
gonna be, I don't think I'm the only one, cause I showed it to my. wife.
Actually, I'm a little confused, I remember reading it in he just had it in words.
I had it in words,
Just kind of is
and he asked me to put it in a chart.
The chart's better, but the
Well,
chart just needs
Yeah, cause I
some
same
stuff.
thing,
All right.
but then when it was in the chart, I was like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
get it now.
And now I need
But
to understand the
but
chart.
if there's a.
It makes perfect
question-
sense, it's beautiful, actually, I love it, now that I understand it,
Okay,
but I was reading it across instead of
So
down.
clarifying it somehow.
Yeah.
And how do we,
You,
You know, maybe.
is
might
it the
be
number
better
still
just
the
to
original
go-
from the original?
what?
Are the numbers still from the original?
Yeah,
I can print that out and another one look at
the
it.
words?
Yeah.
Yeah, if people wanna read the words,
No, I don't wanna read the words.
I may have-
I think we get it now.
yeah, if you
I
get
get
it.
it, I get it now,
Yeah.
but did you get it? at first?
Not really.
Okay, so the first column, if you have a 4,000 square foot house, 30% of your house
Right.
is 1,200 square feet.
Right.
That's state code.
Right.
There's nothing you can do
Right.
about that. The second column,
If
If
your
you have a
house
house,
is between 1,600,
and 4,000,
yep,
you can build an ADU up to 1,200 square feet.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because that's it, it's 1,200. That gives you beauty, like, makes it easy, makes it no problem. If you have a less than 1,600 square foot house.
Yep.
You can do 75% of your principal dwelling or 900, whatever, whichever is larger, and the 900 has to be there for state code,
what's 75% of 1,600, anybody do that? math?
like 11,
1,200.
1,200.
1,200.
Aren't these the same ones that we can't be more restrictive than?
What?
All those rules that you
75%
said are just
1200.
state statute.
We're back at 1,200.
His statute's 900 or 30%, so I can't, if you own, if your house is
Yeah, but
800
I
square
get,
feet.
yeah, I get that, but then, doesn't the next part say we can't be more restrictive, or we
Yeah,
Can be less.
It can be less
can be
restrictive,
less restrictive.
so they're all kind of up for debate.
No, the 4,000 is 30%, that's it, we can't do anything about that.
That one we
By
can be
law,
less restrictive then?
nothing in this subdivision, this
You could
section shall
make
be
it, you could
restricted or prohibited
Give
by
people,
law.
if you want,
It's less restricted on ADUs.
What on this?
oh, yeah, you keep that 4,000, you could let people go to 100% of 4,000 if you wanted.
Okay.
I,
I mean, the whole thing to me is, it's kind of strange that we're restricting it this way, but it's a bigger discussion.
yeah, no, I said, I'm not married to this document, I just put some stuff in front of you to work with. If you wanna go less restrictive than that,
So my thing is, what square footage is reasonable for a family? Because that's really who our workforce housing may be. Right? A family with a couple kids. Can you get a 2 or 3 bedroom situation in 1,200 square feet?
Yes. Definitely 2.
Definitely 2.
three
3
would-
starts to get a little tight,
3 was smaller. But, I mean,
and 1 bathroom, and, I mean.
I mean-
Kids used to share a bathroom.
We have an ADU on our.
No, it's
no,
confusing.
I didn't-
864 square feet. And a couple lived in it for years with their dog.
But anybody with kids, which in theory, our goal is to bring younger people and people with kids in. I mean,
I mean, my theory is that we should
So-
set some parameters around the wastewater, steep slopes, other environmental things, and then. And the setbacks are great and that, and then. That's it.
let them go. Bob's your uncle, build as big as you want.
I mean, this is all pretty arbitrary. It's like, what if your house is 3,900 square feet? You know, you're right under this and then the change, it's like, we're nitpicking how people develop their own land. And it's just like, and we're not gonna get it right. And I'd rather people be able to do what they want within these safety parameters, you know?
Okay.
So I'm gonna be in favor of allowing for as much with the ADUs as possible. Just gonna put that out there.
You wanna,
so that begs the question, they can always apply for a permit to go bigger.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you mean permits, but there's no permits to go bigger.
but maybe we allow that they go in front of the DRB to build a bigger accessory dwelling.
But that's what we're removing from the LURs and making it administrative. Right now,
But I'm saying, let's put a parameter on this, and they always have the right to go bigger. If they go in front of the DRB and it's permitted.
so the way Jason reads this Homes Act says we can't put them in front of the DRB to build an ADU. JB Weir in Waitsfield puts people in front of people don't go in front of the DRB in Facein to build a big ADU. So that's not a tool in our toolbox. Correct, Jason?
That is what you guys determined at the meeting, that you guys agreed with me that the review for a single family review for an ADU. Should be the same as it would be for a single family residence.
Right.
I mean, if someone comes at me with a 6,000 square foot house and it's on flat land and no stream buffers or anything like that. I just sign off on the, as long as I got the water, wastewater and all that necessary stuff, but I wouldn't send them conditional use route because they have a large house. I mean, they might, because it slows.
I'm saying, do we
basically.
wanna throw that out there as an offer? Right, if we wanna put some restrictions here and say,
But what. the
anything
state-
bigger.
Yeah, but the state, I think the state prohibits that.
is it prohibited if we give them, you can do it without a permit in this parameter?
All of these need a
Or
permit,
an administrative permit,
conditional use approval from DRB, I mean.
yeah,
Freddie, I'm 100% on your side. I read the reg the same way JB does. But, you know, that's just how I read it. There's some lawyers from the Vermont, what's the acronym?
League cities and towns.
League of City and Towns.
LHCD.
Some people read it one way, some people read it the other
I
way.
disagree with how Wasteful does it.
I can't get a straight answer on it, but the, basically what it comes down to for me is what Jason drove home to me and my understanding is. I mean, have you been to a DRB meeting? It's not fun. It takes months.
it's
Like,
contentious.
You wanna build something on your property and now we're gonna add 6 months to our timeline to go to the DRB. So do we really wanna make, I mean, we have to have common.
Well, then
sense.
we should make it bigger, we should give them, we
Oh,
should
yeah, no,
leave it at 90% or 100%.
I'm 100% making it, these numbers, I think these numbers are small, I think it should be bigger, but I just put something in front of you guys to talk about. I think 2,000 feet's great, I don't know what the right number is. But I mean, if you have a 1,600 square foot house and you build a 2,000 square foot ADU, now you just built a new primary residence and your house turns into your house is an ADU. But remember, what's most important is it's an owner occupied structure. Okay, if you wanna leave, like if you get called out of state, you can't rent your house with an ADU on the property. You have to go in front of the DRB to turn into a duplex, to subdivide your property. It's no
Have they
longer
dealt
legal.
with the tax implications of a rental property on yours,
Well,
estate,
Yes,
they have?
it's part of the homes.
Okay.
Something like that, they've
So
got
they
their
did
business
include that
use
then?
or something like that, for the rental or something.
So it is declared a
I hear
business use?
Doug talking about it,
Okay.
how much I pay attention.
there's a house in Moretown that just hit the market, right? It's got 2 buildings, about the same size, and one's called an ADU. If some out-of-state person's like, oh wow, I can buy a place with 2 houses on it and rent both of them on Airbnb. They're gonna find out, no, you can't do that. You have to live there to make that an ADU. If you wanna create, you
And
wanna,
who's monitoring all this?
the zoning administrator. I mean,
It's
That-
being done probably all over the state, you know, whether there's, you know, whether people are called to account for it is the.
but like, if you roll in here. As an out-of-stater who doesn't live in the house, and you've got a rental house on a property and you wanna pull a permit to build an ADU, and Jason can say no. Like, you don't live in that house, that's not owner occupied, you can't get an ADU, you can apply for a
You
duplex.
guys missing the whole thing, the owner occupied. Is. That I got clarification on, it could mean you're there a couple weeks a year.
Right.
Okay.
That's one of the ones I dealt with.
Doesn't mean you're-
on 17.
So are you a resident?
Owner
Okay.
occupied, he's there,
But
he's there for.
We
4 weeks
can't
a
make
year.
it more restrictive than the state, and those are the words the state put in.
Yep.
Yes. And then there's a slippery slope with what, you know, how you define residency. Is residency defined by where you actually are just spending? all
6
your
months in a
time?
day.
6 months in a day.
So I'm reading the Facein Town Plan. All about the bucolic nature of our township and how we need to keep it that way. And then it has a section 6.81 on accessory dwellings. Approximately 27% of Facein residents responded they would consider providing an accessory apartment for others to rent. 35% said they wouldn't do one. 23% said it's not practical or impossible. 9% were not sure. So the majority of people said they don't want one. Then it
No,
says,
no, there's, you know, lies, damn lies and statistics.
I'm just reading.
Somebody said,
Plan.
they didn't say they didn't want it,
Yeah,
but 30% said it wasn't practicable.
I've read that paragraph 6 times backwards and
Okay,
forwards.
so 27% said yes, 30 something said
No,
no. You can't lump the other 30% that said they can't afford to do it or it's not practical into the no's.
okay, fine. So 1/3 said no, another third said
Yes,
not practical or possible.
yeah,
Then it talks about a guide to providing housing, affordable housing strategies. There are a number of other options that Facein should consider that might encourage the development of more affordable housing options. These include new zoning regulations to encourage the creation of lower priced building lots, smaller minimum lot sizes, consider reducing or waiving development fees, tax incentives, develop major subdivisions, okay, et cetera, et cetera. And then they talk about where. And they talk about Mount Ellen base area, Mad River Glen base area, German Flats Roads, Route 17. So I'm just trying to understand philosophically, what are we trying to do? I'm hearing there's interest in, well, we all agree we should be able to have ADUs. Then I'm hearing interest by some people that we want to make it bigger. I'm hearing 1,200. Mobile home was about that size. Okay. I'm hearing other numbers. And I'm just trying to understand, what problem are we trying to solve? Are we trying to solve the Vermont or the US, call it the world housing crisis, because the whole world has housing insecurity. And we have in the United States, we also have in Vermont, we also have it in the Mad River Valley. So if we're trying to solve that problem, or what are we trying to solve? And what's incentivizing us to work this? That's what I don't understand.
we're trying to alleviate the housing crisis and we're trying to streamline the process of getting an ADU as much as possible without having people having to pull permits and go to get a conditional use permit and everything. We want it to be made uh fast or streamlined. We want it to be efficient. We don't want too much review. And we want the sizes to be, appropriate.
So 2 points, Paul. One is streamlined review. Is there something in this 4.1 as it exists now that needs to be taken out?
The DRB review, conditional use,
Where does it say that?
the bottom part, to go above 30 up to
Oh,
90.
we
you have
said
to go-
that's, we don't even want, we agreed a year ago to take B out.
You asked the question, Michael, I answered the question.
Well, we already, I thought we took that out.
No, you asked in the existing reg, is there something that makes it more restrictive? We need to remove that.
Agreed.
The process we're doing tonight is to remove that.
Yes.
The part you just read in the town plan talked about reducing lot sizes, changing setbacks. You've made it very clear in this meeting, you do not want sprawl. ADUs is using the same cut of trees to put another structure in your existing forest cut. Not in all examples, you can prove me wrong. People will cut down trees to build ADUs. I'm not saying that that's not gonna happen.
You're looking for the word building envelope.
Building envelope, we're staying in the building envelope and we're increasing housing units. Which reduces sprawl and increases housing. That's what, I believe that's your goal.
And we're adding loads to the dirt roads.
Yeah. What do
Loads to the dirt roads.
No, we're not increasing, we're not adding curb cuts or roads, it's.
We're
already-
adding people traffic.
Traffic.
Oh,
Usage.
you're adding what, you're adding, okay.
Use-
You're gonna find, like,
Yeah, yes, people need, yes. There'll be a little bit
Not
more
necessarily.
But
traffic.
we're also could be expanding tax base.
Not
Many
necessarily.
taxes.
If you had a 900 square foot apartment, you still might end up with 2 drivers. If you end up with a 1,200 square foot apartment, you might end up with 2 drivers and a kid. So you might not be increasing the wear and tear on the roads.
Unfortunately, the tax base with that 60 erased any value that we would gain from more people.
All right, well, let's not go down that tangent, for God's
They're
sake.
still working on it.
Alright, so we have a lot of work to do tonight,
Yeah, we're
folks,
reaching back
so
here.
let's try to get through this ADU stuff, because we have to get through our record, or our revisions list, this isn't, we're not. I don't wanna spend 3 hours talking about this, like. Does someone wanna say a number that's larger than 1,200?
Or does somebody, yeah, make a motion to put a different. Something in there and move it.
Let Andrew to flesh out his idea, I'm intrigued with Andrew saying, you know, like how that,
I mean, you're still dealing with 250 and water wastewater, I mean,
Right.
there's still gonna be things.
there's still,
prevent
there are
people
still
from doing that.
guardrails.
There's huge amounts of
significant
guardrails. The 90% was a little aggressive. Would everyone agree that 90% may have been a little aggressive?
I'm fine with 90%.
More towns 100% a little aggressive. What about 50%?
I mean, that would like. I don't think throwing out numbers is a good way to make policy.
No, I mean, if you put it to 50% under the 4,000 square foot, you put 1,600 to 4,000 feet up to 2,000 square feet. And then the less than 1,600,
That one's fine.
I can't change that.
No, that one's fine, you can't change that either, so that's the state. Um,
So let
To
me
make that
ask one more
bigger,
question.
I can't let someone build 2,000. Yeah, but
Somebody always has the right to say, I'm gonna subdivide my land and do this, or I'm gonna do an addition to my house. And here's the septic and the water and everything that proves that these two kitchens, so they can, in effect, go to the DRB and build whatever the heck they want.
oh, yeah.
Possibly create 2 building envelopes in cleared areas.
Yeah, there are
Increase the
other
parcel
avenues to develop
To
your
get there.
property, but what we're trying to deal with is the ADUs, right? There are workarounds, there's what you can subdivide. You can
Right,
build a
I'm just trying to
duplex.
make it all
Right,
clear.
yeah, so. Yeah, let's just stay focused on this.
thank you.
If we could. And I agree, I'm not 100% guy, Andrew, 90 does seem rather. And I agree that just throwing out numbers is not a great way to make policy. But listen, we're not making policy, we're passing along revisions to the select board, the public's gonna chime in, the select board's gonna chime in. It's sort of, that, you just throwing out 50 doesn't sound so bad either, you have a 4,000 plus square foot house,
But okay, one thing,
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
to Freddie's point, like, what are we policing at this point? If somebody can build 6,000 square foot house, whether it's a
yeah,
4,000 and 2,000 ADU, it's
Yeah.
like, what are we worried about?
I'm not.
So why are we eliminating 50?
So is the goal,
Just because we can.
Well, I think we're trying,
Because it's fun.
if I go back and to the point is, this is the back door to put duplexes on. a property.
But you can do duplexes, you can go to the DRB, you can get approved for a duplex, nothing's stopping you from building a duplex. You still has to state water, or it still has to steep slopes, like you can build a duplex, this is.
Every zoning district that allows a single family residence has duplexes and allowed use.
Yeah.
Just they fall under the conditional use side in a bunch of them.
Hell, in 2 districts, you can build duplexes with just a permit, and you can build a 2-family home as well. Like. We're not, like, this ADU thing is not a backdoor to things, you can do anything you want.
And also duplexes don't have to be a lot of time,
Yeah. That's what it turns into when you move out of state.
and it's my headache. But it's not on you guys, it's just that's the way the law is written.
So,
So we're back down to size matters.
so if you, Andrew, I mean, you know.
Here's a good question, I'm trying to look at this chart, I'm just trying to make sure, this is a magic word that folks like to use around here. Is this equitable?
Equitable?
Is that the right word?
Yeah, fair.
Is it
Well, that's part of
fair?
my point, I mean, you're allowing people that can build a bigger home to also build a bigger ADU.
So the guy with 1,600 square feet, he can build 1,200,
Mhm.
that's 75%.
Yeah,
Same as less for the people, 1,600. I guess it is.
I mean, this is helping the little guy and reducing the size of the ADU for the big house guy. Like, if you have a you know, I have an 1,800 square foot house, you know, so if I did 30% or 900, I'd be stuck at 900, so I'd be able to build a 1,200 square foot ADU. Which I can't do right now, and my house is not that small, I have 3 bedrooms, you know, 3 baths, like. Not a small house, and,
Right. I mean, our standards just keep.
yeah, and,
So in a way, we're kind of just limiting ADUs to 1,200 square feet unless you're larger than 4,000.
yeah. So, do we wanna just, like, Moortown says 2,000 square feet,
Yeah, unless you wanted to change the 1,600 to 4,000 and go to 2,000 to be in line with Moretown.
we go to 2,000, and then we can
Is
get,
that across the board?
well, it's 2,000 for 1,600 to four
No, and
thousand.
column number 2.
Column number 2 will go to 2,000, and then column number 1. The 4,000 plus. There would be some, we'd have to make some 30% of principal dwelling or 2,000 square feet, whichever is larger, is what we'd have to put in column 1.
So, wait a second. I'm sorry. I don't understand what we're doing. Now we're just throwing out numbers.
It's a little anecdote, I just looked it up. I'm currently living in an apartment that's 1,000 square feet, it's 2 bedrooms. If I had 2 kids, it would be very, very, very difficult to live there. I have 2 bedrooms and the other bedroom is a utility room, kinda.
You mean junk storage?
No, ironing board. Workout. And put the inflatable air mattress in, you know, when you get company, kind of thing, or whatever, but it would be really difficult if I had 2 kids.
And you said that's 1,000 square
That's
feet.
1,000 square foot. I just looked it up, see how big my apartment was. I thought it was 900, but it turns out it's 1,000.
I mean, I can go to sleep tonight peacefully if we change it to 30% or 2,000, whichever is larger, for the largest column. Change it to 2,000 square feet for the 1,600 to 4,000. And if someone has a suggestion for the less than 1,600 square foot, I mean, the reality is if you have less than 1,600 square feet, you build a 2,000 foot ADU. Now your ADU is your principal residence, you just flip flop, doesn't matter.
2,000 for the 4,000,
So 30% or 2,000, whichever is larger.
1,600 for the second column.
1,600 to 4,000, that column would be 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
And then the last column, we don't change because it doesn't matter.
What's the third column?
Nothing, the third column doesn't change.
You know, and that's a simple way, in my brain at least, of remedying the problem of which direction I'm looking. If you just put a Roman numeral or just, you know, capital I over that first column, 2 I's. Just column 1, column 2, column 3, that way you know that you're reading column by column and not by line.
Okay. We can do that.
So. What are you proposing for less than 1,600 square feet?
Oh, it doesn't
Okay.
change,
Just the way-
no change,
75% of the principal dwelling or 900 square feet.
Trevor's larger,
Then the middle column is what?
2,000.
So you're building a ADU that's bigger than the house.
He's talking about column 3.
No, he's talking about 1,600 to 4,000 square feet. He makes a valid point, if you build a 2,000 square foot ADU. Now, the house you were living in is now the ADU, and the thing you just built is the principal residence.
That's a lot.
But
and you're
why
talking
is
about
that a
change of
problem?
use permits and stuff.
I've got
like
2
that.
houses now. On a lot that was. Zoned for 1.
Or I would guess some people build it as an addition. Like if grandma is gonna move in there,
Yeah, because remember, this can be attached.
she needs a caregiver. And if it's on an already existing building, like if I wanted to do one in my barn, I can do that. Right, I can.
There's
if
something,
the-
there's something to that, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna commit that.
No, you
it's
can very
that-
much
Yes,
build the living quarters in your barn, without a doubt.
there's definitely something to that.
Hmm?
Then you used to talk about the carriage house stuff.
Well, yeah, that was a really bad example that guy put out.
Yes.
And then paragraph D and paragraph E are basically the same as what we had before. Does anyone wanna make any comments about the big
The
B?
adequate water supply,
Yes,
I wanna know about that.
A&R.
It's an A&R standard,
Yeah, A&R.
so they've gotta do a well.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you, like, say you have a wastewater permit, well, what adequate water supply A&Rs you gotta get, can you supply the water, right? Also, wastewater side of it is, another thing to think about is, alright, say you have a water wastewater permit for a 5-bedroom house, but you only built a 4-bedroom house. You still would have to get when you build the ADU, you, say 1-bedroom ADU, you still have to get a water, permit,
A
wastewater.
wastewater permit.
Amendment, yep, regardless. Right, regardless of whether you have the 1-bedroom leftover capacity, you still gotta get an amendment.
But I'm more concerned with the adequate water
That's
supply.
it,
They've gotta do a whole well test and provide that. Thanks.
and we don't do that,
But if you do an addition to your house, you don't have to do that.
cause well, could.
bedrooms, if you had
If you had a
bedrooms.
bedroom, one of my questions I asked people,
Right, but
what are
if
you
you're not
doing?
adding a bedroom, you don't have to do that.
Well, because that's better, the only rooms that use water are bedrooms.
Yeah, I've got water in all my bedrooms.
The only ones that poop and use water. are-
No, we don't do that in our bedroom, we do it in the bathroom, just saying.
No, but they still rate how big your septic is based on bedroom.
The
not
head
bathroom.
down,
I know.
Anyway, so D and E are directly quoted on 4.1. There's no changes.
Hasn't been a
So
change.
wait a minute, what numbers are you guys proposing?
We're gonna
Nothing,
come back to that.
so we don't know for C yet.
Yeah, I just wanna talk about paragraph B and then we can come back to the size and then we can vote and then we can move on to the next thing.
So we're looking at little d, okay?
B.
B,
B at the bottom.
oh,
Well, little d and little e are
Why-
directly
why
the
do
same
we-
as,
why do we need B? I thought we agreed a year ago we don't need B.
read B again.
Accessory dwelling as defined by these bylaws should be a permitted use. That's in the.
Yes, read the next sentence, Michael.
A secondary accessory dwelling may be approved in designated zones just subject to requirements of subsection A. And conditional use review in concordance with Article 5.
So you can have two ADUs.
You
is
can
what
go
it
two
says.
ADUs.
And that's taken from our existing, that's not, he didn't spin that out of whole cloth, that's in the existing 4.1. We didn't screw with that at all.
No, that's to build the second ADU.
I know, but I'm saying that language about a second, accessory,
No, that's new.
oh,
That's
that
new.
is new, okay.
Second
All right,
accessory
hold on.
dwelling is new.
Yes.
This is very much new.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
Why are?
Yep.
I'm just,
You can say, it. I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Does anyone else think it's a good idea?
Has anybody asked to do that?
It exists in others, so there's a delete key on the keyboard for a reason. It just,
How did you even oppose it?
I think, I've seen this around in other LURs, but there's usually stipulations that it needs to be for employee housing or farm housing or something like that and then, without any stipulation, I don't think it's, I'm not on the PC.
remind me of the horse farm at the center Facein and North Facein, right?
Mhm.
She has a lot of people that work there. And she can only have one principal dwelling and an ADU. So this would allow for another housing unit for the people who work on that horse farm.
There used to be another one there,
Yeah,
and she had to tear it down.
She's in the process of trying to get an ADU permit
For a second ADU.
for one ADU, she took her cottage out.
but like, let's say
I mean, it was.
you had an ADU attached to your house, right? So you have your house and then you have like an apartment that's attached to your house, then you wanna build an ADU. That would allow you to keep both. of them. But I can delete it, I just, it's a shoot for the moon thing, it's just.
I think without any stipulations, it's a way of circumventing PUDs and things like that.
Circumventing what, Jason?
PUDs.
Seems like it should just turn into a
Chapter 8,
PUD.
the
It is.
planned unit development. The ones that I've seen that have allowed second
No, just say, these
stipulation.
are the words you say. Paul,
Stuff,
say.
'cause you can't, with 180, you can't say, this can't be STR, the second one, you can't.
So,
We built a second. So that's why I'm reduced.
Fair.
You're converting one to an office.
Yes.
I mean, but in your situation, like, it's the legal use or not the legal use, right?
Right.
Like, ultimately. You're not changing anything, you're not building it, it's the same way if someone has an ADU attached to their house and they come into the DRB to try to change of use to a duplex, right? They come into the DRB, they say, I have an ADU, I'm moving out of state, I wanna rent both sides of the house, I'd like to turn it into duplex. No construction is taking place, no state watch, there's nothing happening, what?
Change of
It's
use.
just a change of use, it's a stroke of the pen, it's really easy. In your situation, it would just allow you to
Yeah,
have
no.
legal ADUs.
Right.
But, so, is this
But
something?
the change of use, what if one of them is, it's never that easy. Cause if, you know, so if you do a change of use from a permitted use to a conditional use, where duplex is a conditional use in majority of our districts, I would say.
Yeah, other than the Irish.
Then that change of use is a DRB hearing.
Yeah. A lot of DRB hearings. Do we just wanna delete this and then maybe bring it back up when we're building a town plan and sending out
I
things to the
don't
public?
understand why we need it. I mean, if we've got the planned unit development to take care of this.
No, as Langford said, he was just, you know, taking a shot at the moon. And I think it's something for another day. We should bring it up during the, you know, we should mull it over in our revisions of the town plan and bounce that around. I think it's a little extreme. at this
Ready for the delete button? It's gone. We're no longer talking about it.
So B is gone.
B is gone. Alright, ADU size limitations, where are we at with that? Does everyone feel comfortable with 2,000 square feet? Does some people feel comfortable?
Column 2 is
A lot
4,000,
simpler, to have one.
30% 2,000.
What?
Column
30
2,
Reluctance.
Column 2 is
Change.
30% of principal dwelling or 2,000, whichever is larger,
column 3,
Inherited, right?
is 2,000.
Yeah, but it had the or larger.
Right.
Just go with the
no
percentage.
changes in column.
No
Paul,
changes.
you built a second AD or an ADU.
Yeah, it's not.
How big is it?
It's 1,200 square feet. I think, maybe,
Yeah, you don't calculate the garage,
right.
Oh, so the garage is not considered
cause
part of it.
it's an accessory to a single family residence.
And your ADU
Oh, you mean
is a
the
really
first
nice size.
one.
He's got an ADU with the old one,
That's the old one, the new
The
one.
new one is roughly 1,200 square feet.
What do you do with it, Paul? I mean, it's,
I don't know, we just, we haven't done much with it, it just came online.
ours is 864 square feet.
So it's got
People
it's
still
got
live
one
there.
bedroom, it has an office for my wife. And,
You mean the garage,
the new ADU,
the new one?
and then when our tenant moves out, the old ADU will turn into. You know, like a guest room slash, you know, office for me. I don't have one, so.
I think 2,000 square feet really works, because if you wanna go larger than that, you just file a subdivision application with the town to build something larger than that. Or if you wanna make a much larger, if you get a duplex permit, you're still gonna have to do steeps, water, wastewater, all that stuff. I think,
So this is just the freebie where nobody can deny you if you meet all.
yeah,
The
if you,
rules.
if you meet all the criteria, you can build something that's 2,000 square feet, pretty much dependent, whatever lot you're on, you can generally build something at 2,000 square feet. If you have a Mondo house, you can go larger than 2,000 square feet.
I
What?
thought we were at 1,200.
We were, but then we changed.
For the record, I was raised in a house that was 1,600 square feet with my 2 brothers and a sister. And my parents. 1,600 square feet. 1.5 bathrooms.
Well, that was my point, is we just, everyone's standards grow and grow and grow, right? I don't think that this stops anyone from building a smaller ADU. This just gives them more that they can build. without a problem.
In
Yeah.
the past 2 years, they had the ability to go 90%, and I don't have
But, I mean-
100% application.
Paul, you built your ADU in the last 2 years, but you leaned into 30%, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Would you have gone bigger? Okay, and how many do you have in coming in this year?
We're slow right now, so, but the inquiries that I get are, it's usually about this, it's gonna fall into this category easily. We're not getting permits for. Someone tried to come up to me with the 80%, and then. By the time they got to my desk, it was 30%. The one on the corner that he was talking about is the one that's trying to fit things within.
Later.
My daughter's house, she's got a family that's 1,600 square
It's
feet.
my last name at Gmail, McNeil, I'm seeing it now.
there you go.
How did the house at the corner of Key Vassar and Bragg Hill get permitted?
That's a, they did go to DRB.
Is it an ADU?
No,
It's-
but we've got questions with that, and right now they don't have a kitchen.
It's a breezeway and it should be an enclosed walk.
They don't have a kitchen.
In that new part,
That's what Doug told me. They don't have a kitchen.
Oh, what's your email?
It's one of the things that get a dwelling unit. You have to have
PC
a-
Quinlan,
There it is.
Shiva.
Really?
Yeah, if I find out, pull it up the deck, cause I've been dealing with,
Because that's,
what's an ADU, what is a dwelling unit? And it's,
so there's no kitchen in that new modular thing?
what I've seen from, I think there's one going in, but I'll be in communication with Bowen on a change of use on the old part.
Alright, I just sent you guys the revision.
Unless her parents are doing all the cooking for.
I mean, that's like what people are worried about, it's happening anyways.
I'm glad they talked to you about it when we're not recording.
Yeah, I'm not
Alright, I
worried
sent,
about that specifically, just.
Yeah,
The fact that something like a project like that.
I sent everyone
That
the
is-
Word document of the,
Just log into the Zoom and then just put it on the screen, and then everyone can see it.
but I don't even know how to
How's
log
that?
into the Zoom.
Is our visitor still here?
I drive by, like, almost every day.
It's not working.
Phone is part of this world, phone's part of
Well,
that world. I have enough drama with Bone and.
I don't log into Zoom.
Yeah, you just click the link and you don't have to like log in.
I did click the link. And I did spend a significant amount.
Mr. Whitman, you still there?
Being recorded.
So then. I,
Oh, unmute Mr. Whitman.
Ooh.
Unmute him.
I could ask the,
he might just wanna listen, we don't have to. Bug him.
Yeah, but don't you wanna know who he is?
I can ask them.
I don't know if it's in our rights and, I mean, get his name,
Probably not.
we'll just like to listen.
Andrew, you're a very kind young gentleman.
It's a public meeting.
Thank you. We should mind our manners.
Charles, can you hear us? Do you have any feedback on this subject?
When I Googled Bone Whitman.
Oh. No, me neither.
sorry, Jason. I'm
I
trying to
gave you
share.
the ability, right?
What?
I gave you the ability, right?
I don't know.
Or you could email it
I just did. I
Yeah,
emailed it out.
I was just thinking you
and
could.
then you could put
No,
it,
I already-
it's not here.
oh,
Oh, I guess you could.
email it to yourself and try to do it that way.
Guys can just do the email thing. Technology is awesome.
Ah,
You're just gonna email.
Oh. There you go.
ta-da.
Put some columns over
All right, all right, all right.
there.
I'll clean it up when the public makes comment, I will add
Just
columns.
do an A, B, C, D or something.
No, I just think one. Okay. Roman numeral one, Roman numeral two, Roman numeral three.
If you went house,
Probably shade the boxes so people's eyes are trained to go vertically instead of.
Yeah. Good.
I could do that.
When it goes into the LUR, it will be perfect.
so how do people feel about this? I guess we need to vote.
Yeah, I'm trying to call it to vote, I was hoping that someone would bring it to vote, and then I can second it. I don't wanna call it to vote.
I move that we vote on the ADUs as proposed,
I second.
so then we can have discussion.
We had a lot of
I
discussion.
know, you're not really supposed to till you make that move,
Right,
right?
right, right. Yeah. Any further discussion?
Any further discussion on this? Do we wanna,
I don't like the numbers. I don't understand why we're doing it. I think it's gonna change the character of our town. I don't see a lot of demand for this. So I disagree with the numbers.
do we take it to a vote and see how, if it carries?
I'm gonna disagree as well, kind of the other direction. I would just, in my perfect world, I'd say 90% across the board for no matter what size house you have.
Okay,
But if you three agree on this, then that's,
I just don't think we have a basis for it, and I don't know how to determine a basis.
I think that,
Smaller, larger, like,
I think that if we pass this,
it would take us a long time.
and then we had a public discussion about it. And let's see what the public thinks about it, not 5 people in a room, is that fair for me to say that?
That you might be inclined to see things more Andrew's way.
But we have to have.
Oh, no,
something.
I don't disagree with Andrew in the slightest, but I just. Jason says 90% excessive. It's an ADU, it's supposed to be smaller than a house, there's other pathways to build large structures on your property, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
doing it as an ADU.
Stop, move it.
I'm not building an ADU on my
Yeah, yeah,
property,
yeah, yeah.
I
Why
don't,
did I come here?
but I think if we approve this and we send it out to the public, then maybe we can have a larger discussion, is that?
No, and we'll get some feedback from the select board yeah, so let's vote, shall we?
All for? Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
All against,
alright.
so 3 against 2. We'll put it in the revisions list.
right, and I like the idea that if the public comes in and says, has a lot to say about it, that we listen to them.
This might be one of the things that we, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Who's
Yeah.
seconding that motion? You? Sorry.
I second it.
There's
All right.
nothing wrong with that.
So we have this revisions list. We've removed my subparagraph B. So Article 1 is gonna change. For how we changed, number 1 is gonna change, because we just changed the ADU wording. The number 2 is gonna stay the way it is, because we're removing conditional use from all districts. Does everyone understand what that means?
Yes.
There's a typo correction for number 3. Jason, it's just a typo, right? I don't really understand it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to circle back for when I write the report.
yeah, one sent us it just sent us to the wrong section.
4 is also a typo. 5 is the site plan that we voted on, no one has anything to say about that, right?
No.
And then there's number 6.
Hang on, just slow down for
Sorry.
2 seconds. I wanna just see this, just this typo in. 4.8C9, I meant to look at it earlier in space.
Yeah,
I screwed up that last reading of things. I wanna get back on my, back on the horse. Okay,
On 4.8, what
Cool.
was the typo?
it just changed C section 3.11 to C section 3.12. 3.11 was wrong.
One said this supposed to be about stream, there's an incentives to flammable combustible, something like that.
All right, 6.
So 6,
All right.
does anyone wanna talk about 6?
Thought we talked about it
We did,
ad nauseam.
we voted on it, and then we got a lot of public input and education from the state about things that are going on in the, Superior Court and Supreme Court decision. And Paul and I had had a discussion about tabling this until the Trails and Greenways group comes out with their list of private landowner rights. And Langford and I had that conversation as well. And Chuck, when he left our meeting, said, fix the link and leave it alone. It's what the people voted for. So for me, I think fixing the link, which Jason has done, and waiting on this is the most sensible thing. But once again, I'm one and there's 4 more of you.
And by fixing the link, you mean fixing the link to the New York thing?
Right,
I
because the
agree.
state of Vermont doesn't have any standards yet. Claire Polfus, who was here, works for Rebecca Washburn, and they're doing those standards right now.
I mean, Vermont has some standards.
The standards they have are for public trails, not for private.
So. Item of fact. If you wanna build a private. Trail on your property. And your property is greater than 10 acres, you need to pull an Act 250 permit.
So I think trail and path have different meanings.
If you wanna build a public trail on your property. It has to impact greater than 10 acres to require an Act 250 permit, which is about 20 miles of trail. Which is very interesting to me.
Well, and this whole law could blow this all up.
Yeah,
And, but the Central Vermont, says. BNRC Community Planning Toolbox. Tools, road and trail policies. A path is a cleared way for pedestrians and or bicycles that may or may not be improved. Right, and Jason, you sent me that back in September.
but according to. Vermont VSA 442, trail is land used for hiking, walking, bicycling, cross-country skiing, snowmobiling, all-terrain vehicle riding, horseback riding, basically what we put
In
in
ours.
7.
So we have different state agencies with different,
No, I mean, the
Verbiage.
Vermont state quote statutes is pretty clear.
But as I think they said it in the meeting, the definitions refer only to that statute. They're not a broad definition for the state of Vermont trail. It's not like Vermont has its own definition of trail. It's
Okay.
just referring to that statute.
Okay,
I mean, it doesn't help clarify for us, but just saying, that's what they told us. when we
I'm going
tried
back
use
to a
it.
very dark place right now.
I don't really wanna like. I'd reached out to Chuck, and I asked him what his thoughts were on trails, and he wasn't really aware of what we were doing. And he asked me to send what we have. And I told him that I would send what we have after the meeting tonight, after we had discussed what we were planning on sending. As to not waste everyone's time banging a ping pong ball back and forth between public hearings. And changing this stuff. I was in every meeting where we talked about trails for 4 months. I would prefer that it aims at a Vermont link, if I'm being honest, but the New York link is what exists. It is, I've read the document, I have it here somewhere. About exactly how to build trails. Freddie, are you moving to remove section 6 from our revisions list? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
And
still
so
to fix the link.
No, the link's been fixed.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
You wanna take 6,
right out.
do you wanna take 7 as well?
Well, let's choose Freddie's move to remove 6. It needs a second and then a discussion. I'm not going to second it.
I'm not going to either.
I don't know what to do.
Well, without a second, there's no further discussion.
Right.
And we move on to 7.
Okay. I think we need to have a definition of trails in our land use regulations.
I
That
agree.
was what the public asked for. Yeah, I was okay with this.
I'm good with 7 as well. I think that's a good definition of trail.
Okay. And then 8. Putting the exemption, cause that's one, that I'm very passionate about. I wanna make it very clear that you do not need to pull a permit to build trails on your own property.
Right.
That is very important to me.
I agree with that too.
Yep, we worked hard on that, and I think that that's an important exemption.
Okay. And then 9, we voted on last week. No one has any problems with the RBS stuff, right?
No problem here.
And then 10 was what we voted on last week. And then I don't know what 11 was, Jason. Can you elaborate?
11 was something that we did in, I couldn't. We did in September 11th, 2023. And it was we ended up having to clarify some things because of things that went down between contiguous land and lot. What they ended up deciding was a contiguous land is a parcel of land contained within a single unbroken parcel boundary. A division of land by right of way shall not render such land non-contiguous. Or 2 or more parcels that share a common parcel boundary point. Lot, the change was to clarify the difference between contiguous, that a land separated by a state or municipal highway owned by the same person is considered to be 2 lots. So it's not necessarily contiguous. All right, so for example, the one I could think of, go up here to North Facein Road, when you get to. Is it Boyce or Dunbar? The Vians, the nephew who lives there,
On one side of the stream and the other side of the stream?
no, not Stream Road.
Junior.
Yeah, his
So-
house burnt down a few years ago. So whether, I can't remember if it's Dunbar or Boyce that separates them.
Dunbar.
So he's got a lot there, but then Boyce separates another piece of his parcel, so that is actually 2 different lots. Because it's a state road that separates, or a municipal
Municipal road.
or state road that separates them.
Wait, it's Boyce or Dunbar?
Dunbar.
It's Dunbar.
I thought Beans had some lots on the west side of Boyce as well.
I
Anyway, no.
don't, no, it wouldn't be, and I think Francis has the ownership of
Yes.
that now. So I don't think Francis owns more than that.
Okay. Another Beans,
So is this, what we're
If
changing, is it, is
there's
it,
more than one.
I had to go back and get the old definition, but it didn't clarify that.
so the contiguous land in our definitions is one, a parcel of land containing within a single unbroken parcel boundary. A division of land by right of way, including a town road, shall not render such land non-continuous, or. Two or more parcels that share a common parcel boundary or point. I tried to share my screen, but that's in page 137 of our LURs. Is that what we're talking about changing?
No, it's lot.
Well, continuous land and lot definition, that's continuous land. That's the definition.
Parcel land contained within a
What
single.
section is that?
It's in the
Definition.
definitions, page 137 of the LURs.
Single unbroken parcel boundary. Division of land by right of way shall not. Right, focus those.
137.
I remember the most important part was the change to lot.
And then the lot definition is, I'm not gonna read it to everyone, you guys can read. It's there as well.
Is it the same one?
What?
Is it the same one that's? does
So
it say the same thing?
continuous land is one definition and lot is another.
Yeah, they're two
definition.
different.
They're two different things. So what are we voting on?
That you've made these changes. What's
It
the, what's the
was-
definition
What
of
it
lot?
was the road, it was the specificity of the road,
The road and lot.
so that someone couldn't put their own, road through. And separate.
For example, your driveway doesn't create two different lots,
Right, so.
but a
it has to be
state
a
road
municipal or-
does, or a municipal road does.
Okay, so. What's the change?
I'd have to go back.
It was the
I don't have
clarity of that it was a municipal or a state
No,
road.
but what is it? What are we sending to the public and select board? Is there a quote or I'm sorry, I'm just confused.
Yeah, there'd be a whole red, there's all red line on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't mean.
yes.
Steve.
I haven't.
No, you wanna understand.
So they updated lot, they messed up on updating it for contiguous. And it
Yes.
needs to just get brought up to speed with lot.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's the
I'm good with that.
impact
Perfect.
of a
Yeah, I-
town or a state road that in effect,
Right.
creates two lots.
And that was clarified as well. Not just a right of way or a.
Right.
But
Or
you,
driveway.
Paul, what I'm saying is like, I wasn't here in 23, I don't, you were, we have what we're actually changing it to in this part, but not.
Only Freddie
I
was
know.
here.
What?
Only Freddie was here.
Only
Yeah.
Freddie. was-
I got the minutes from. Right there.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't think we have to.
Which one is this?
Oh, no, I,
11, it's the one that just came in today, but it's not a.
Jason, send you one of these?
does everyone feel that they've reviewed all 11 amendments? To the town of Facein land use regulation bylaw amendments revisions list?
Yes,
Does everyone have the understanding that the
With
stuff we
amendments?
talked about with ADUs will be replaced in number 1 before we warn it to the public?
say that again.
Does everyone understand that we will be amending the list that's number 1 to put in the text that we voted to push in for ADUs?
All we're changing is the table.
Yes,
Yes?
So the tables and getting rid of B are the
B
two.
was what.
Yeah, I got rid of the B. I emailed you the document that we're gonna add to number 1. And then we're gonna warn that to the public for our next meeting. With all that being said, I would like to motion. To vote. To send this record. This land use regulation bylaw amendments revisions list out for public notice.
Second,
Shall we vote?
any further discussion?
Yeah, is there any
discussion?
further discussion? Anyone for? Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Anyone against? Anyone abstaining? Did Michael, did you abstain or did you vote?
I'm just making the notes here. I'm not hearing anything that's gonna upset me, so.
So did you vote to send it or not?
Yeah.
Alright, so everyone voted to send, seconded. Freddie seconded. So,
So just so I'm clear. Number one. We confirmed. And the size is gonna be the table you're gonna make.
yeah,
Number 2, 3, 4, 5, we confirmed
yeah,
without discussion. Number 6, we discussed, we decided not to discuss. we'll leave it, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 will be left as is.
Everything's the same as this. The only changes on this list are number one, and we're gonna change it to that text.
Yeah.
So. Jason and I will work, and I will reach out to you guys once I have the. Commission report, so you can read it, to give me any notes before I package that up to send out to like 17 different people. All right, wanna move on to the liaison reports, Mad River Planning District?
Yes,
That's me. My last meeting, was May 15th. And I intended a purpose, and there was a discussion. About, uh. Flood resilience, meeting that was, held, and, discussion about FEMA and FEMA reimbursing. Chuck was talking about what FEMA will reimburse for, and what they will not. And, so this probably might impact your
isn't
call.
that meeting Wednesday, this coming Wednesday?
It's the June
11th?
10th, the flood event.
I thought it was the 11th,
Might be-
at 5:30.
I have noted July 10th that there's a phased-in meeting. My notes might be a little.
This one's at, Black Friday,
That tomorrow?
no, Wednesday, at 5:30.
Okay. Um. And, we discussed some mutual aid response. That's another thing that, FEMA doesn't reimburse for. So there was a discussion about, where FEMA, yeah, like if we, when we call in, Waitsfield and Warren to help with, flood recovery.
We don't get reimbursed.
Yeah, and if we pay them, we don't get the money back from FEMA. And we don't get reimbursed for any work on private culverts. That's supposed to be borne by the
The landowner.
landowner of the culvert. So that was interesting stuff. And we spoke a little bit about this is the 40th anniversary year of the planning district, of the MRV planning district. And we discussed a little bit about, just educating the public about what the MRV PD does, the important work that they do, and trying to raise awareness of the importance of the organization. So you'll see some stuff about the 40th anniversary and celebrating the fact that they've been doing it for 40 years. Next meeting is the 19th. Not sure why it's not this week, but it's pushed back a week, so. Next Thursday, next meeting. That's it for.
Awesome.
Alright, so the big items on the last meeting for the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. We got a few new nominations for different committees. One was for the nominating committee itself, and then. I can't remember the other one, but,
Department of Redundancy.
Yeah. And then the majority of it was spent getting an update from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns on what they've been lobbying for in the State House this session. And I don't know how closely everybody follows it, but the housing bill that includes this program called CHIP is gonna pass, and it's like TIF, but for smaller projects, and the
The
goal is,
woman from Fairfax that's pushing
there are a lot of people pushing, I don't know. who that
Is that, I try to follow along with the weekly updates and all that, is that related to the law stuff, the local option sales tax stuff and the account that it's created by it?
Not really,
Okay,
but it's a similar.
it, but it's about like infrastructure.
Yeah,
so that we
it's,
can-
it's the same thing as TIF. Like for tax increment financing. And the TIF was meant for really big projects, and there's a very few number of TIF districts in the state that can use that. And so CHIP is for smaller projects and private developers to be able to get, basically. You're accessing future tax revenues to pay for infrastructure now.
Where does the money come from?
Either the town can create a bond and then. Keep some of the tax revenue,
What does this stand for, Steve?
community housing infrastructure program.
As, just an aside, the MRV PD meetings are absolutely maddening for all the acronyms, and I'm sure it's the same with you. I mean, everything has.
Every industry has so many.
Nuts.
Or don't even start with aviation.
Oh, I'm sure.
Fire service.
Oh. Anyway,
So the goal of this is to help create affordable housing and, a town, I don't really see how. I don't see faces,
It didn't look like we were really,
yeah.
that
but-
last, I read
But
a lot
it is,
about it.
it's meant for rural areas as well, and. There's nothing that says we couldn't use it.
We should like that growth center or anything like that, it's.
But
There's a
we're
lot to it.
steep, and I think it's steep and.
Some stuff.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, like, there's one in Burlington where. Right now it's a big parking lot in the south end. They want to put like. 1,100 housing units on it. The sewer capacity isn't there to get the wastewater to the treatment facility.
Oh, can't they just dump it in the lake?
Try not to, but, so like this project, Burlington could make a bond. Help pay for the. Sewer capacity, updating sewer lines. And then they could keep some of the future tax revenue to help pay off the bond. And the big debate was, is that robbing the education fund in the future from those tax revenues? And it's technically not, because without this program, those future tax revenues wouldn't be there.
Ever be realized,
Right.
yeah.
I
So-
know that with the TIFs, we actually had to pay for, approve additional taxes in Burlington. The TIF.
You used to live in Burlington?
You approved a bond.
And a tax. This time, so I still go in Burlington.
well, it's a good thing because it's all subject to review by the VEPC.
Yeah. So we approved the
Vermont.
bond, but also.
Vermont.
He's this vet guy.
Vermont,
Environmental
Vermont,
conservation.
We also
now
approved,
Economic Progress Council.
Oh, okay.
So,
this is for the
You got the
local
Vermont.
sewers, and water,
You could have gotten council, if you got that far.
so we don't feed our cities into the.
Yeah.
anymore.
so I don't think it will have a huge impact on Basin, but I think there is a way somebody could try to get a chip project here.
Or maybe it's
Sounds-
not work over in
Chip or tip?
Irisville and
But it-
Wastefield.
Smaller.
Tip, no chance.
Oh, right,
Tip-
right.
Tip is the
Chip,
big one.
Right,
Chip,
sorry.
but like Waitsfield for the wastewater could and
Mm-hmm.
should use chip. Maybe even tip, that might be big enough. But. And so our next meeting's tomorrow, in person, our annual in-person one. You want to come to Barry,
Yeah.
Really? Time?
6 o'clock, well, 6 o'clock pizza social and then 6:30 meetings.
Yeah.
Eating.
Oh, wow.
And then that's the social part.
This is all been remote.
And then, so at that meeting, actually, tomorrow is kind of interesting because it's looking at the future land use maps and
Hmm,
what I was discussing last time with. The tiers and the, yeah,
That's why Brian doesn't have it. I talked to him today. He was like, oh. I was like, I'll call you Friday.
Like,
Cause whatever he's doing. is
chip,
through
it's just
Thursday.
it's a downside. I mean,
Yeah.
it's another, just a version of a tax increment finance.
but, and it can be approved by a town
Right.
instead of a district.
Right. Got it.
And it can be used by a private developer,
Might-
not a municipality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how TIP works, but CHIP is kind of cool because the town can decide. The amount, the increment. How much of the future tax revenues they keep. And how much tax increment.
Let's see the private aspect of it.
that's
Were there
Scott.
parameters about what they can spend
Main
it?
Street amendments,
Yeah.
Main Street.
And
stuff.
it's, yeah, I think, and it's skewing towards like housing and even more towards affordable housing, I think, but.
They're also saying here, there was strong support for CHIPS inclusion for flood mitigation, especially for rural towns. And for its focus on publicly owned infrastructure that benefits residents across income levels.
I mean, I think
So-
like the best example is the
It
wastewater
doesn't
treatment
necessarily have,
facility.
right, but it doesn't necessarily have to be housing, it can be for any sort of
Infrastructure of the
Yeah,
house.
any infrastructure, not housing infrastructure, I mean, flood mitigation says it right here. Yeah. Eligible infrastructure, utilities, broadband, roads, brownfield remediation, flood mitigation, and other core infrastructures.
Brownfield mediation?
Brownfield remediation.
But I
And
think
what,
those are all in to allow. for
Brownfields
that,
are,
right?
sites that are basically polluted.
Okay.
And we clean them up.
Like mini, like a mini,
Enrichment.
mini, think tiny super
Um,
fund.
There's
It went through a lot
of too, like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went on Ridge Street, there's that apartment complex right there.
Yeah.
That was a brownfield, and they cleaned that up and built parts in there for housing.
What was that?
so any dumping
Richmond.
place, you can,
It's an industrial area. It may
Yes.
not necessarily be a Superfund site.
and it's not
just-
just brown field.
No,
It's the-
it's just a term of, it's
Yeah.
a term of art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
There's something that doesn't
Yeah, it's not a
necessarily
Superfund site.
rise to the level of being a super fund. site.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We move to the path.
Path,
Path.
shows the path, Mike.
We finished reviewing and drafting the corridor study report. It's now being reviewed by V-Trans. And we should get the final version by mid-July. So the public comments that we received over the previous couple of meetings are all in there now. There'll be a public meeting in August that will present the final study. The good news is Doge did not stop the bike and pedestrian grants. Okay, Mr. Musk may have gone before he got to that line item. So they're still possible to get them. The grant application window is open until July 11th. And what we did find is that the wastewater, the Wastefield wastewater project, we can't get through the grant process in time. So we're looking for the next easiest place to apply for this grant. And Misha's actually working with some people now, looking for different phase 1 options. And he will be applying for the grant by July 11th. And hopefully we'll get that.
So you said the grant to put the path on top of the wastewater is not gonna make it in time?
Yeah, the path is gonna follow this roughly 6 miles of the wastewater
Yeah,
line,
okay,
but we cannot get the money in the grant process finalized to meet the construction schedule. They're ahead of us.
oh,
Yeah,
how, they started years before you did? Okay,
yeah. Okay, so we gotta find someplace else that we can apply for the grant and do it in our schedule.
okay,
And Misha's got some ideas and he's talking with some people, and he's asked me just to let him handle it as well.
because that seems like, I mean, of the path that I understand, that's the most viable section is on top of the wastewater, so if we have to
Exactly.
crowd fund that, like, whatever it takes to make that happen, like, that needs to be pressure, because that's as close to a rail trail as I could see.
Yeah, and they will help us with the permits and the co-location work that we gotta fund, we just have to work that.
Okay,
You wanna have a one-on-one with Misha?
yeah,
Yeah, he can give you some more information and things, but I can't really commit to anything, but I think your idea, it's a good one.
it's just, it seems to me that like. Every part of that project is I'm like, with the part on top of the wastewater pipe where we're ripping stuff and
Yeah.
there's got right of ways.
And you got equipment there,
Yeah, that's the part that's actually gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
So if we lost that and they just put hay on top of it again, that would be terrible.
We discussed that at the MRB PD as well. You know, and so that I think that the planning district supports that and, Waitsfield, that was pointed out to the Waitsfield reps that were there. I forget there's a new select board gentleman who's now part of the steering committee.
David.
Brian's gone.
Jonathan,
Waitsfield.
No, John Ersprung is there.
yeah,
Who replaced?
Babbitt Klein,
Huh?
David Babbitt Klein. Is he
Yes.
Waitsfield? Yeah, David, yeah, he's
Yes,
a friend of mine.
yes,
Well, I'm sorry,
he was there.
yeah, he was there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge.
Right, he's David Babbitt Klein replaced Brian Shoup.
Okay. Okay,
yeah, so, yeah, that's. That's about what I can say.
all right, does anyone have any other business? What is other business?
Well,
Well,
last week or the last
We
meeting.
kind of hammered out, like,
business
so
was-
we're gonna talk about the we're gonna talk about the public hearing.
Yeah, no, I know,
We
yeah.
kind of handled that.
So yeah, like I said, Jason and I are gonna build an agenda that allows us to actually have a meeting if the public doesn't show up. Freddie and I talked about the districts we had a call earlier. And so maybe if we could just look at the districts where they are, and if you notice, we have a bunch of them. And they're all basically the same except for two, the Irisville and the Resort Commercial. And what I found interesting was
Wait, what?
the resort,
What do you want me to look up?
not
To
you.
put it up here.
Oh.
No,
now.
I was
Not right
saying,
now.
no, I was telling the people on the PC, hey, like, if you get a chance to look at where our districts are, we could maybe talk about districts at our next meeting.
I just thought I was missing.
This
Part of the
is
sentence.
saying-
And we have maps.
Yeah, there's like a map in
Because-
Jason's
and
office.
Jason's gonna start calling,
Yeah, I got big old maps for our districts and.
It's just weird that the resort development district is the parking lot at Mount Ellen, but that whole high road, low road stuff is in the rural residential. You know, and so it's all about, right? I mean, that's what you and I. That's what that's,
You're losing me right now. I don't understand this.
anyway, that's other business. And the
So
next meeting
This is
will,
this is what you're talking about.
yeah, and if you look, the high road, low road is not in the resort, it's in the rural residential. Our next meeting will be July 14th, which we will hopefully be able to have the public at. Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
What is 14th?
July 14th, yeah, it's the second Monday of the month, because July starts on a Tuesday.
oh,
Does anyone have any conflicts?
July 14th. I will be zooming in. But I can be here. Via Zoom,
Okay,
I hope.
if we did it on the 21st, would you be able to be here?
No, my wife is having her knee replaced on the 22nd,
Okay,
so.
You
the
you had
14th
one done
was
too,
better.
didn't you?
Yeah, I know, she's following in my footsteps.
Where's she having done, Utah again?
Yeah, Utah.
Mhm.
She won't leave our doctors behind.
okay, so it's the 14th. Anything else?
June 14th?
July.
July.
July 14th.
July 14th is our next meeting. Jason and I put an agenda together to have things to talk about that are like town plan related if the public doesn't show up, so we can have a quick meeting and sort of start spooling up for that, because we can't really make many changes, and then we'll work our way through there. Awesome sauce.
Well done.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
second.
Aye. Really proud of the hard work that we all did tonight.
Oh, yeah, no, that was.
Recreation district.
Is it?
That's the recreation district.
Jason's recording.
Hmm?
Recording.
Who's the recording on?
Oh.